Let's do it, y'all. Casey and the rabbi and Casey. Pop in those earbuds for some nice conversation. The rabbi is an expert in the Mosaic law.
Casey's strong and generous, smart hands. This is definitely your mother's writing.
So won't you join us for a real swell time? We gon' talk about whatever comes to mind. Let's go.
Have a good show.
All right.
Yes, have a good show. Welcome. How's everybody doing?
It's good to be. We took a little break after our live Christmas Spectacular, and now we're back at it.
Back at it, folks. Season 2. And if you don't know, I'm Casey O'Rourke.
I'm Rabbi David Gerber.
This is Casey and the Rabbi. It's season 2 coming at you. We're excited.
We've got a show for you today.
Whew, I can't wait. We can't wait to share this with you.
We've got a special guest. Ooh, I just hit the microphone. That's going to sound good.
Oh, that's going to sound great.
But we're not editing that. Your thing fell below the lapel.
Was it coming back? Okay, there we go.
You turn into a right lapel mic person.
I know. I feel like I get it, and then it goes away, and then is that coming in all right? Okay, but yes,
we're gonna leave that in because we like you to be part of the process of us finding where to put the lapel.
We're not perfect. We're just doing us, and
we're in a new studio.
New studio. I mean,
this is our sanctuary.
It really is.
And we have a real producer. So we've had Elijah. Actually, Elijah vanished. Hey.
Typically, we left the seat out for him.
And so shout out to Phil Gaithy, who's back there running the cameras and the microphone.
Phil Gaithy, amazing. Yeah, he's making this so much easier for us.
And we're going to start a new thing this segment. We're going to have special guests, and we have an incredible special guest today, Tiffany Pollack.
Tiffany Pollack, amazing singer, songwriter. She just, I mean, her voice it's like butter. I mean,
she's going to talk to us. She's going to jam with us.
Great story.
Can't wait. But we are going to start, as we always do, with our big question.
The big question, baby.
And here's the big question. Dreams?
Not just a Fleetwood Mac song.
Not just, so we, in the Torah, we just finished learning about Joseph.
Okay.
And Joseph is the most famous dreamer of all.
Interesting.
He had the dreams. He was in the pit. He was in prison with in Egypt, and he had these dreams, and the Pharaoh called him up to interpret, and he interpreted them correctly, and he ended up getting out of prison.
Was that the situation where, I may be thinking of somebody else, where they were like, I'm not going to tell you what the dream is, you got to come in, and was that was Shadrach, I think.
He told him, so he got a reputation for being a dreamweaver, interpreter. And he used this power, and dreams are something that science has a hard time understanding.
It is. It's a mirror into our subconscious. Some people think that, but what I understand is that it's kind of taking the events of the day and contextualizing them, maybe. But there's so many different levels to dreams. I mean, I think that traditionally, in the Bible, there's been many times where God has spoken to people through dreams, or messages, or prophecies. And dreams are not only something that we do in our sleep, but it's something aspirational. It's something that, a goal is a dream on a deadline, I've been told.
A goal is a dream. That's nice.
Yeah, and I think that's like a practical thing of a dream. But dreams, to me, they're aspirational, but it's also something that like you can't put your finger on, but it's almost has a religious nature too, where it's a hope, Well,
a lot of rabbinic thought on dreams is that the reason that God speaks to our biblical ancestors either in dreams or really late at night is because that's when it's most quiet.
Right.
And sometimes we realize that we're just too noisy to fear God these days. I mean, think about how noisy we are. It's a true silence. You put people in those soundproof rooms for half an hour, they go crazy.
They're crazy, yeah.
Because we're so used to, there's always this technological buzz around us, and there's beeping, and there's but once you get this silence, then you can really hear the divine. And so there's also a rabbinic idea that dreams are 1/60th of prophecy.
Oh, interesting. Why that 60th?
Well, the Talmud uses that fraction 1/60th when it wants to tell you something's insignificant.
Oh, right.
So like if you have if you have food and there's a little bit of unkosherness to it, but it's less than 1/60th, it's still kosher.
You're fine. Yeah.
But with dreams, they say it's 1/60th of prophecy, which means you shouldn't read too much into it, but you could read a little bit into it if you wanted to.
Right. And I've heard too that you're every person, you're everything in your dream, because I mean it's all a internal context, so it's like you are the person you're interacting with, and maybe it's your mind trying to unravel the situations you're in, and looking at it from different point of views. Have you ever had a lucid dream?
I lucid dream like crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm always conscious in my dreams.
That's amazing.
And for a while, I had some pretty bad sleep apnea.
Oh, do you get the mask?
No, actually, I'm going to go on a sleep apnea detour right now.
Let's do it.
All right, this is a message for the public. Okay?
CPAP.
So I was having sleep apnea, snoring a ton, driving my wife crazy. And so I went to a sleep dentist and got this like retainer that pushed the lower part of my jaw forward, and it worked like crazy.
Really?
It was really, really expensive.
Wow.
And somebody should have just told me, like, lose 8 pounds. Like
You're fat.
that's all I had to do, was lose 8 pounds. If I'm over this weight, I snore. If I'm under this weight, I don't.
Is that true?
It was for me.
Yeah. Wow.
Or maybe it's just, I started exercising and training.
Sure. Everything gets
But I have,
lucid.
so I tell my wife she should be thankful, because I would see things and freak out.
Really?
Like run into the bathroom screaming because I thought there's an alien in the room. Just like with sleep apnea, sometimes you have trouble figuring out what's real and what's...
Oh, wow. Did you experience the sleep paralysis?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Was something like
terrifying.
heavy on your chest?
Terrifying. Sleep paralysis is when your body is fully asleep, but you're conscious.
I've always never wanted to have that, but you've had it.
Terrifying.
And I mean, especially in the rabbi context too. I mean, there's got to be so much religious. Is there religious imagery, or is it more?
Well, there's a pagan demon that it's like a witch that they say sleep paralysis is this witch sitting on your chest.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. What's a dibuk? Is that
A dibuk is a soul without a body.
Huh.
So dibuk means to like connect really tightly. So like dibuk is if somebody's faithless, then a dibuk could attach themselves to you, and it's a real mess.
Yeah.
If anybody out there has a dibuk, I can fix it. I can.
Is there a technique? There's prayers.
I can do it. I can do it.
Nice.
But I do have in relation.
Dibuk busters.
Well, there's a lot of good dibuk movies out there.
Is it? I feel like
there's The Possession, which is great.
Okay.
There's a movie called Dybbuk, I think.
I've heard the term. I don't know. I watch a lot of ghost stories.
Me too.
Yeah, I like that stuff. But just getting back to the dreams thing, have there been like, if you are a lucid dreamer, do you ever? Because the rare times that I have lucid dreams, I always just go Wolverine claws. Like I always just want to. I'm a big fan of the X-Men Wolverine, so I'm always like Wolverine claws.
I fly.
You fly. You're a flyer. But has there been a dream consistently through your life that you've maybe as you've grown older you've reflected on, or just a consistent like through line?
I always have a dream that I didn't finish a class in rabbinical school, and found out that I need to go back and take it, move back to Cincinnati, and I every time I think, well, they can't. I'm already a rabbi. They can't take it away from me. I have that constantly.
I have that dream too, where it's like I'm back. I think a lot of people have that. Do you back in high school, or for me, it's college, because I'm at Tulane and I'm like sweating this stuff. I'm like, what is it? I'm like, I have a degree. Like I don't. It's kind of the same.
Yeah,
thing.
It's like there's a test in a class that I never.
Yeah, like I can't. I don't want to do this again. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. And so what does the Talmud say about? You're saying 1/60th. So do they? I guess there's not a lot of weight put on dreams, but is it something that they? I mean, obviously, rest is a very important component. God rested on the seventh day.
Well, there's, the dreams that he interpreted were basically saying that after 7 years of plenty, there's going to be 7 years of famine. So you should ration and save for a rainy day. And that's something that anybody should know.
Sure.
Always ration, always save for rainy day, always assume that, always plan for difficult times. But, when you're the Pharaoh and you think you're a god, and then it's news that things might not always be great.
What do you mean? Yeah.
And so sometimes, the idea that it's 1/60th of prophecy should tell us that we can find truth. I mean, this is our subconscious talking to us and sometimes presenting to us in a way we don't normally see. And so, you can, like, a lot of Yeah, I get a lot of programming ideas in my dreams, or
Yeah,
a lot of
absolutely.
like a lot of ideas for our podcast.
That's awesome.
In my sleep,
Yeah, I've had
and a lot of them have turned out to be really awful. They were 1/60th good.
1/60. But no, I've had the same thing where I've had melodies or something in my dream, and I've a lot of times I'll be like, oh, I'll remember it, and then I don't. But now, if that ever happens, I literally wake up and I'll go to the piano and write something down. Funny musical story with I Can't Get No Satisfaction. Keith Richards was sleeping, and he woke up, and he had a tape recorder by his bed, hummed that melody, and went back to sleep, and that's where. Dun, 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 dun.
That's cool.
Pretty cool.
Well, there's that Seinfeld episode where he got up in the middle of the night and wrote something down, and nobody could.
They couldn't decipher
Yeah.
it. Well, yeah, and I think that dreams today too are very important, because we grow up in a culture of a little bit of negativity where people try to be like, no, you can't do that, or they're just, and that's not just now. I think that's always been the case, but we need dreamers. We need people that look to the future and give you hope, because the world can be a dark place, but there's got to be hope out there, and there's got to be times in your life where it may not be the rosiest picture, but there's always something, and for me in my life, it's turning to God and knowing that maybe I can dream a new path forward, because there always is a way forward.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, the idea of dreams as aspirations.
Mhm.
We should always have that. I mean, it people do that today, vision boarding.
sure.
Sometimes just seeing the goal can help.
Right. Getting it from the idea state into the real world. And I think that people don't understand that. I don't understand, but there is, I think that everything is, once you get from the internal to the physical, even just writing it down, it becomes real. And you can kind of, not that there's some, what do they call that thing? Like the promise, or what's that stupid thing where it's like the
Oh yeah,
gift or the
something like
message,
that.
the sacred, I don't know. Is it like the message? I don't know. Some
whatever it is.
whatever
That's our
it is.
sponsor for the day.
That's our sponsor, the message. The secret.
The secret.
Yeah. Where it's like, you should not, you can't control God. I mean, you have to submit to the Lord's plan for your life. You have free will, but it's not a matter of, you have to be positive, I guess, positive thinking, but there's not some combination that you have to unlock. There's not this thing. It's more just taking your ego out of it and be like, because there's things that I really wanted in my life, and I'm like, God, if you could just give this to me. And it may not have been the right thing, or like look back and I was like, whoa, I couldn't have handled that if I would have gotten it then. So,
Well, in Judaism, we pray, and a lot of times if there's something we want to achieve or do, we don't pray that it happens to us. We pray that we have the strength to make it happen.
right. Yeah. And I think that I don't know, I guess like with tarot or some different esoteric, maybe occult things, it's like trying to manipulate things to come to you, where it's like, I think you just petition God, or just, through your gratitude, you just look for blessings. And I think gratitude dreams, they uncover the blessings that are right in front of you. Sometimes you're in this little tunnel vision. It's like, hey, look around you, things aren't so bad. And
So I've got, I think TikTok has like 1 week left of being in existence.
I think so.
Just when we're figuring out how to use it.
We just figured it out.
But I've got a challenge, a TikTok challenge
Okay.
for a listener out there.
Okay.
So I used to think my house was haunted because of my sleep apnea and my lucid dreaming. I had the scariest dream that I think a creative person could turn it into a great story.
Ooh.
Okay. So I'm laying in bed, and I hear this like thump on the floor, like thump, 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 with like shuffling. And I look up and I see like a little old woman with a walker
No.
just walking her way towards me.
With the tennis balls?
No tennis balls.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would have been a nicer.
Yeah.
So she stands over me in my bed, and standing up, she says, "I'm looking for the reason."
Ooh.
And I said, "What?" And she leaned in. She goes, "The reason," and it scared the hell out of me.
Yikes.
And
That's
so somebody out there, like,
Yeah.
tell me what the reason is.
The reason. And the reason is you. Wow.
Stank.
Ubastank.
Uba stank.
90s or early 2000s.
So in the last breath of TikTok, somebody make that into a movie.
And
then we get 20%.
Looking for the reason.
Casey and the Rabbi, executive producers.
Let's do it.
Well, speaking of dreams,
Yeah.
we get to talk and sing with Tiffany Pollack today.
Wow, that was a dream come true, and she is amazing, folks. Please stay tuned. We got Tiffany Pollack coming up next.
Right now.
Right now. Don't go anywhere. And
They're not. I mean, for them, nothing's going to happen between now and when she talks to us.
oh, that's true. We don't
Have a sponsor.
Oh, that's right. Well, should we do the blessing now or bless into it or
Let's do the interview now,
And then
we'll do the blessing after.
That's right. Because you're gonna get blessed. It's double blessing, 2 for 1. Season 2 of Casey and the Rabbi. We'll be right back.
We're right. Literally,
We're here. We're not going anywhere. All right.
we're here.
All right. Thanks. What's up, folks? This is Casey O'Rourke, and I'm with
Rabbi David Gerber
and our very special guest today,
Tiffany Pollack.
We're going to say it together. Tiffany Pollack.
The Tiffany
The
Pollack.
Tiffany Pollack.
Yes.
Sing-
Hi.
Singer, songwriter, just institution, just a
Cool person.
cool person. Our coolness level, boop, 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 it's going way up.
So our plan in our second iteration of this podcast is to bring people who are cooler than us,
Right.
so that
Y'all don't make my head explode over here.
That's what we're trying to do. Butter you up, and then we come with the hard question. It's a compliment sandwich. Yes.
Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you so
Yeah, of course.
And I'll just start by saying that you are my introduction to New Orleans music. So my wife and I, when we just bought our house in New Orleans, we were wandering around Front Street, and we heard this voice coming out of the Balcony Music Club, and it's Tiffany Pollack singing with the Dapper Dandies.
Yep.
And
Wonderful introduction. I mean,
we were hooked. We just sat down, listened, and it was the best.
do you remember the first song that they were singing, or what was the kind of vibe? Did this magic moment, was it, no?
I don't know. I mean,
Is it a traditional?
Well, you do a Yiddish
I know
song.
you like By Mir Bist Shane.
Yeah. We heard that. I was like,
Shane.
that sounds
Yeah.
Jewish.
Are you Jewish? Tiffany?
No, my husband is.
Nice.
She's Jewish adjacent, we call that.
Yes.
I'm also Jewish adjacent, but just mentioned because he's here. I don't know what I'm talking, but
Give us a background. Who are you? Where are you from? What got you into music?
I grew up in Slidell, Louisiana, and I have just always had an interest in music. I was adopted at birth, and I found out when I was 25, I met my biological mother and my whole biological family, and I found out that they were all musicians. So, like, growing up, my family that raised me was not musical at all, but, like, I just had this natural ability, and they bought me a piano at one point, and I started writing songs on it, and they got me lessons and stuff, and yeah, so that's it. It was just kind of in my DNA. I found out my mother's a singer and bass player. My grandmother was an opera singer. Pretty much everyone on my mom's side of the family does or has done some sort of music professionally.
wow. So did you go to Slidell High, or I'm
I
getting
went to Salmon.
Salmon? This is just like a little local flavor here. I don't know. Yeah, look,
Salmon?
salmon? Is it? It's like
Salmon
fish.
High School. Yeah.
Salmon?
The
Salmon.
Salmonella,
Salmon.
like the
Salmon
like-
Rushdie.
like the poisoning or the intifada.
It's just
No,
it smelled like
fatwa.
salmon,
Fatwa.
but we're in Slidell and it's Salmon.
Salmon.
Named, of course, after the famous explorer Carl Salmon.
Carl.
Calliope. It's not Calliope.
We've talked about
That was in our...
It's salmon, not salmon.
We talked about how when I try to pronounce a New Orleans thing, I think how I would pronounce it, and I do the opposite.
Yeah.
it's a good idea.
And it works like 60% of the time.
Yeah, it's a good thing. So was it not to get super personal, but when was like the revelation that you were adopted, or
I always knew I was adopted.
really?
Yeah. Yeah. My parents, they told me.
Yeah.
They were open with me about it. And Katrina happened when I was like 21. And
We're like
I
the
just
same age.
started to like
I don't know. I interjected that. I just
I'll be 42 in February.
oh nice. Yeah, I'm 40.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm a little
almost. I'm coming up on 45.
45.
Yeah.
You look 20.
I've played softball like a 41-year-old.
Got the knees of Mel Brooks. That's right. I don't know. No, but
Do you remember the first song you ever wrote?
Yes. The first song that I ever like recorded on my little Talkboy tape recorder that I had. But I will never like sing it for you, or I don't remember all of it.
Come on.
Certainly remember it, and it was like a song that you would imagine like a second or third grader writing. I remember that there was a mention of Pogs in it.
Oh, of course. Well, if you have a talk boy,
you're right in that sweet spot of
the
Pogs.
Pogs are. You know they had a talk girl too.
Did
Yes,
they?
but I had a Talk Boy. I think the Talk Girl was later or something.
Do you know the talk boy?
Yeah. Did I grow up with Home Alone too?
He's
Of
like
course.
the coolest.
I mean, seeing that movie and then he's doing it, and for those of y'all that don't know, it was a small recording device. That was my biggest Christmas gift, I think, besides when I was really young with the Ninja Turtle Doom. I don't remember the Aggro Crag. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, but yeah, the Talk Boy was like you could talk into it, you could slow it down, and then for a mischievous prankster as I was, I mean, I was calling, yeah,
And you could speed it up too.
speed it up.
Yep.
And it was good quality. I mean, it was just like regular tape.
It was a tape
Or
recorder.
little.
Yeah.
Stick out. And my piano that my parents had gotten me was a gutted player piano, so you could like open the doors and see the hammers.
Oh, that's
Oh, cool.
So when I was writing instrumentals, I would stick my Talk Boy nozzle inside of the piano to make my recordings.
that was
I remember my neighbor and we thought that there were secret codes to all the video games, but they wouldn't tell kids. So we used to use the Talk Boy to ask. We'd call video game stores and with the Talk Boy and ask what the codes are to these games
in a deeper voice.
in a deeper voice.
How do I beat Mega Man 2? But they do have codes. I mean, I know Street Fighter had the what was the really
They had
Contra had code up,
Up, down, down, left, right,
That's
left, right, B, star.
brothers and stuff.
Yeah. So did you feel like it was a calling, or did you feel like I feel like, and I'm sure Rabbi feels the same way, like music is for me, like such a spiritual exercise where I wouldn't even necessarily have known that, but it was just something where it was like I was always gravitated towards, I just want to figure out how to write a song or how that even goes. Was that something that like
Absolutely.
you felt that? Yeah.
I mean, I started writing poetry when I was like in kindergarten, and so it's the words are always really very important to me.
Yeah.
And poetry, and then soon after songwriting was kind of like the only way that I felt like I could properly express myself. Like it was, and it was also how I like processed emotions and stuff and
Yeah.
big feelings
As-
throughout my whole life. I mean, it was just something involuntary, like something that I always felt compelled to do, like for as long as I can remember.
And do you? Because a lot of people will ask me like, well, how do you write a song? Like, what's your process? And I think creativity comes out in so many different ways. Are you the kind of person that likes to start with a lyric idea and then build it out from there, or do you like necessarily like have a melody, or is there a specific route, or you just kind of like however happens?
It happens different ways all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've got like a riff stuck in my head that I've been playing around with on the guitar or something. And then I just keep playing around with it until lyrics formulate themselves.
Mhm.
And sometimes they never do. Or sometimes I have like
A full song.
like
I
a
mean-
poem or something, that I wrote, and then like I come up with music to it. Or sometimes it's almost as if something else is like channeling me.
That's
And those are always like the best ones too.
those are the
The ones that literally just write themselves. It's
Mhm.
like I get goosebumps just thinking about it, because when it happens, it's like the most incredible feeling on this earth. Like it's just like,
Mhm.
and
So-
when you're done, it's like that was good.
Yeah.
It's like, and it almost feels like separate from you. It's like, I don't know.
I don't have that experience musically, but when I'm preaching or if I'm delivering a eulogy or giving a wedding blessing, I never have it written down. And sometimes when I'm done, I just feel like, God was talking through me.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's a good, divine, inspired talk.
Yeah.
I can't write music.
No, but
We wrote.
when we do it, but that's what I was saying. Like I was about to say, because we were writing this like Christmas Hanukkah song, and like it's one of those things where like once you, I feel like there's there comes this point where you're trying. I hate to, it's like kind of like Star Wars. I mean, but it's like when you let yourself go, and then you're just in that moment, and like it just you lock into something. And I don't know if it's just like universal creativity. I think it's God. I think it's just the spirit of like getting your ego out the way or something. But it is, I've had those moments too where it's like maybe 3 or 4 times where you're just sitting there and you're like, oh, I know everything I'm gonna say, and it's like it's so effortless and you're not trying. And then there's other times where you're like sitting there, like I've had like months where I'm just like trying to get like remember that, like trying to get that last phrase. And you're just struggling. But it's like when you can get that moment, it's like I guess they call it like a flow state for creative people.
Yeah.
Flow trot. Hey. Yeah, so but that is a magical thing, and that's great to hear that you feel that when you're preaching. And I think people, that's what I'm impressed with creativity. So many people like blocked off, like I could never sing, I could never preach or do this, but it's like that is universal, and that may come in the form of like athletics, it may come in the form of just interpersonal.
Sometimes it's the opposite, where I get
Right.
to talk and I'm like, oh, I biffed it.
You're struggling, yeah.
Oh,
Do people say that?
Oh, biff.
I've taught my kids to say,
for her. He said.
I think it's
my kids say it all the time.
St. Louis thing, maybe.
Maybe.
Biff? Sounds like
Biff.
Back to the Future.
That's what I think of.
Yeah.
The bully from Back to the Future. So if you biffed it,
No, it's like if you're trying to like do a dive off a diving board and you belly flop, you say, oh, you biffed it.
Biffed it, babe. But yeah, I just think that
We're a trend-setting podcast.
no, yeah, we're bringing it back.
So now people will
bring
say,
biff back.
Biffing. But not to like get too out there, but I just think that it is like people are scared of creativity because it's a vulnerable thing too, because you are literally taking your ego, putting it to the side and being like, all right, whatever is, I mean, channeling is a great word because you're just stepping aside and you're more into it than you're not. Like there's been times when I'm on stage, I'm like kind of like watching myself and I'm like, what is, but it's great. So that's just a wonderful experience. And I hope that everybody can experience that. You don't need
Sure.
drugs or
No.
who's your musical influences? Who do you love to listen to?
Joni Mitchell, Sarah Vaughan, Anita O'Day, Bob Dylan, Townes Van Zandt.
Dead Flowers. Give me those. Put them on my grave. Would you, not to interject, I keep saying that, but,
You got a couple Jews in
I
there.
love Leonard Cohen so much.
how
He's a
would,
poet. I mean, he's a
what was your experience like? Because growing up, like it was easy for me to, my friends, a bunch of dudes, like get together and start a band. As a woman, coming up in the music industry, what was your experience like? Was that something that you and your friends would get together? Did you have like a group of gals, or was it just like how did that work for you?
When I was growing up in Slidell, if you weren't like a dude in a metal band, you didn't really play music, or like, I was in the choir,
Right.
but no, I played by myself in my house,
Mm-hmm.
to whoever would listen or to nobody.
Right.
And then I moved to New Orleans, and my now husband, boyfriend at the time, we had just gotten this house together on Tchoupitoulas. He had bought it, and I was shacking up. And we had an apartment next door, and we rented it to Russell Batiste.
Oh, wow.
And Andy just was like hanging out over there one day and like mentioned to Russell that I like to sing and that I could sing.
Mm-hmm.
And so Russell was like, yo, Tiffany, come over here.
For those of y'all who don't know, Russell Baptiste, rest in peace, amazing human being, one of the best drummers of all time. He was in Funky Meters. He was also in PBS, Porter Baptiste Stults. Just literally, if you could think of a firework in human form, one of those dynamic, kind.
The most incredible song.
This guy. I mean, if you should. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he was for musicians. You would go to a show, like I love to go to the Maple Leaf, and like I'd walk in and I saw like he's behind the kid. I'm like, whatever's gonna happen tonight is gonna be the most innovative, fun, and he could go high, he could go low, and it was just like hilarious, and also like do rhythms that you just like, I don't. And he's part of that there's a couple of families in New Orleans, like the Andrews, Baptiste, you know, and it's just like he had that lineage, and yeah, Neville's. I mean, this guy was, he passed away what, 2 years ago? Year ago. So sad.
Yeah.
Young guy. But so, I mean, having that introduction, I mean, that's, you know.
Yeah, so I went from like never playing in front of anybody ever to being on like stage with Russell Batiste and like Leo Nocentelli and stuff, like playing.
That's Leo's guitar.
Oh wow, yeah.
Full circle.
Playing Tipitinas and the Howlin' Wolf and you know, like all these festivals, and it was incredible, and it was trial by fire.
Right.
I played Tipitinas on Saturday.
So much Russell Batiste, just tell you, because man, he would throw you. You had to pay attention on stage. He would throw you a curveball. You didn't know what was going to happen, and you didn't want him to give you that look.
I performed a wedding at Tipitinas on Saturday on the stage. Really cool. It was so cool.
You to do a song or
It was so the attire for the wedding was 70s chic, and so there was a lot of chest hair at the wedding. Gold chains. I had a big Jewish star.
Nice.
It was really cool. I felt honored being on that stage.
Yeah. That's my favorite post.
And because I went backstage with you when you were there, I knew where all the drinks were.
Honey, that. So literally, that's kind of the beauty. That story is first awesome. I'm like, what an introduction to New Orleans, but that kind of underlines me, like the wonderfulness of the New Orleans music scene. When you have a guy like Russell Baptiste, who has literally played all over the world, like I'm sure the members of Rolling Stones, like people know who this guy is. So like, be your neighbor, and then just have that generosity to be like, oh, and now you're playing with the Black Folks. Now you're like, is this
Me and his wife got to be good friends. I was like a part of the band, you know? It was crazy.
So when you perform, you are a magnetic performer. Are you lost in the music? Are you connecting with the fans? Like what do you...
Terrible in between songs. I am not like, no, don't ever ask me to be an MC or anything. You know, it's like I am communicating with you through the music. And in between, it's like, thanks.
All right, so sometimes you're performing, and then between songs, like a fanboy rabbi and Rebbitzin come up to meet you and think you're the coolest person in the world. And I don't know how I ended up connecting with you. We must have just Facebook stalked you or something, and then we got you to play. Well, you played at my rabbinic installation.
Yeah.
you were installed?
I was installed.
How does that work?
You could say
Home Depot comes out, all right.
you say a blessing, and then you have a party.
Nice. Was that here at Gatesburg?
The installation was here, but the party was at MS Rao, which is
Such a cool gig.
it's the kind of antique store. It's on Royal Street. If you knock something over, you're going into debt for the rest of your life.
I remember getting so excited because Morris Bart showed up, and I was just like, oh, it's Morris Bart.
All right, I'm going to show this. He's a member of the congregation. I'm going to show it to him, and then maybe he'll be our sponsor.
One call, folks. That's that song. You know him. You've seen him. He is famous. He is, wow.
Ever since
Yeah. Now he doesn't even say the one call thing. He puts up, if you know, you know. I'm
yeah.
like,
yeah.
what a baller. I mean, that's...
I had to Google what that meant. I'm so lame and out of touch that I didn't know that
You've got a teenager.
what that was. Morris Bart is cooler than me.
He's doing everybody. Yeah, what are we talking about? It's Morris Bart.
So with every guest we have, we like to ask a series of rapid fire questions.
Rapid.
And of course, we've never had a guest, and I just made this up, but
Tradition.
sounds fun, right?
Feel the pressure.
All right. What's your favorite festival in New Orleans?
Oh, French Quarter Fest.
What? See, my brain doesn't work rapid fire. That's the only problem. I'm like medium fire.
I'll ask another one.
Okay, I'll be thinking.
What's your favorite place to play? Your favorite bar, club?
The Poor House in Jefferson Parish.
Because you
Where's
can
that?
smoke cigs? What?
No, it's on
Where is it?
Jefferson Highway and Shrewsbury, and it's like my Cheers.
That's like
Okay.
home bar?
Like I
Oh,
know
I've been there.
everybody
Yeah, yeah.
Been there.
and everybody knows me, and I can go and it's no pressure, and I just have so much fun, and I love the bartender, and it's like I feel like I'm playing for family when I play there, and I love it.
That's your happy place.
It is. I love playing.
I used to love. Well, I live right over there, and River Shack is kind of.
I love the river.
Ride my bike to River Shack.
I'll play River Shack and then go have a drink after at the Poorhouse.
They had a wonderful bartender, Rona. Did you ever know Rona? She was, rough as all get out, but she had a heart of gold. You know, one of those like, get to know me. And then, anyway, Rona, shout out. Anyway, okay, so what is your favorite fried chicken in the city? Are you vegan? Are you?
No, Willie Mae's Scotch House.
Have you had that?
No.
It's like
From
candy.
they're not opening back up in the old location, I don't think, but they are coming back. They've been closed for so long, and I'm so upset about it.
The chicken skin, or is that what you call like the outside?
Yeah.
It is like I would literally just buy bags of it and eat it like potato.
I had some good fried chicken last night.
Crispy,
Really?
yet it like melts in your mouth. It's like I've never had fried chicken like that ever in my life.
Where was yours at? Last night?
Canseco's.
Oh, Conseco. I love Conseco's. I eat there. Also, hey, Conseco's. Come on, boy. We got Morris Part, Conseco's.
Oh yeah, we with the whole.
We're racking it up.
Anymore? No.
I think I got one. Maybe I got one.
All right, so you get to perform one song for the whole country to hear. What song are you performing? Of yours?
Of mine? I don't know. That's really hard because, like,
It's like a mood thing.
it's also like,
For me.
how old is the song? Because some songs, it's like I've been playing them for so long. It's like, oh, I guess I'll play that one.
I get that.
Yeah.
Like there are
Like, it's always like whatever, my newest favorite is right now.
Sure. Okay. This is a very tough. I've thought about this for a while, just in my own life. I'm Every Woman, Shaka Khan version or Whitney Houston version? And have you heard both versions?
Yes.
I've never considered
I
that
have to
question.
say Shaka Khan.
Okay.
Shaka.
No, I see. It's so hard because they're like, first of all, Shaka Khan is like my all-time crush as far as like that genre, and then but you have Whitney Houston, who is possibly the greatest technical singer. I don't know. It's a big claim, but it's Whitney, so it's like, and the productions are both really cool. They're different, but I've sat in my car as a young male cranking up I'm Every Woman to like listen to AB. I think I go Shaka too. It's they're both wonderful songs.
I love Whitney
Same.
Houston.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
Shaka.
for that song, Shaka Khan for sure.
What was your first CD? Very specifically, the CD,
CD, not tape.
not tape.
I bought Vitalogy by Pink Floyd from Kmart.
Wait,
I mean, not Pink
Pearl Jam.
Floyd, Pearl Jam, sorry. From Kmart.
From Kmart.
Vitalogy and...
You didn't go to Street Side Records?
Huh?
You didn't go to Street Side Records?
No.
They not have that down here?
What's that?
Street Side Records.
Yeah.
We had
Well, At the
Blockbuster.
same time, it was Vitalogy and it was REM, the one that has It's the End of the World as We Know It on it. And now I can't remember. And it's got the Finest Work song on it. And I can't remember the name of the album. But I wanted It's the End of the World. I flipped it over. I was like, that's the song I want. I'm buying the whole record.
That's a cool song.
What would be like in your top five? That has to be number one, like your top five, like musical experience or just creative experience. It could be like a collaboration or like what's the most memorable?
Like for a performance or
It could
like
be like a recording
album
session or yeah, maybe let's say performance. Yeah.
my most incredible performing experience.
Mm-hmm.
Going on tour with Cowboy Mouth with my original band.
Nice.
Playing at
Which band was
the
it?
Kessler with Tiffany Pollack and Company.
Oh, nice.
Playing at the Kessler Theater in front of like a packed audience, and getting to play my originals was which was I want to do that every day.
I'm Fred's rabbi.
Oh.
Fred's Jewish?
No.
Oh.
But his wife is.
Oh, nice.
And
we went to
her
Jesuit.
mother is kind of a cousin of mine.
Well,
Oh,
remember
cool. We actually opened up for him on it was like years ago, like a couple dates in South Carolina, and it's just something about like those guys bring such. I mean, him alone, it's just like Fred Flintstone on stage.
Oh my
But I mean, he's a great singer.
He's a preacher.
incredible.
He is.
He's a preacher on stage.
Incredible.
But you're right.
Intimidating.
It's like,
He's the nicest guy in the world.
yeah, he is.
He's really sweet, but he could be kind of scary too.
He's got that edge. But I think that is, yeah, when it's like, and it's so funny to see too, because like that's what we work our whole life is like to get in front of these larger crowds and to see that your music like can translate too. It's like, that's such a great feeling. And then the next,
Have them like it.
yeah, and then the next night you're back, playing in front of, in my experience, you'll have these super high moments, then it's like, oh, let's get humbled again. And,
Yep.
But that's why you got to just stay. It's like,
Now I'm walking a tip bucket on Freshman Street.
it's just the way it is. But that's the life. So
All right, you can bring one musician back to life and see them in concert. Who is it?
Leonard Cohen.
she's hitting all the rabbi high points for sure.
I love Leonard Cohen. I'm obsessed with him.
As far as vocally or just song, or just the whole
Lyrically.
package, yeah.
Yeah.
And amazing.
Lyrically, yeah.
Is there any questions you have for us?
Do you want to interview us now?
What you got? Yeah.
No.
Are you gonna?
No, I don't know what. I don't know.
Are you gonna play something for us?
Material.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, we'll sing with you. We can spectate.
Okay. Sure.
Maybe we'll turn our mics off.
We'll turn our mics off.
Well, you always got something to say. You think you're so dang clever, got them looking your way. Well, I didn't come here to hear none of that mess. I didn't come here 'cause you think that you're the best. I'm just here for the crawfish and beer. Ah! Where's my fingers? I'm nervous. Well, you always got something to say. You think you're so dang clever, got them looking your way. Well, I didn't come here to hear none of that mess. I didn't come here 'cause you think that you're the best. I'm just here for the crawfish and beer. Well, when we were kids, you used to be real sweet, and then you met that trash and your brain turned to me. Well, I didn't come here to pull you out of that ditch. I didn't tell you to marry that old trifling witch. I'm just here for the crawfish and beer. Well, you can feel how you feel, say what you wanna say. I ain't listening to you anyway. I know you're just trying to get some kind of rise out of me. You got some kind of issue you just can't let be. Well, just stay in your lane, stay on your side. If we have to coexist, why can't we coincide? Why don't you stay over there and keep an eye on your kids? Why don't you leave me alone? Don't tell me what the hell I did, 'cause I'm just here for the crawfish and beer. You want a solo or something? stay in your lane, stay on your side. If we have to coexist, why can't we coincide? Why don't you stay over there and keep an eye on your kids? Why don't you leave me alone or tell me what the hell I did? 'Cause I'm just here for the crawfish and beer. Yeah, stay over there. Now you get out of my hair. Well, there ain't no more. Oh, honey, show me the door. Well, bye-bye. Hope you get cayenne in your eye.
That was fantastic.
She's awesome.
I mean,
And for those of you who are watching, like when it was time for her to sing, we turned our mics off because we just wanted to sit and listen.
we didn't want to.
But she was so infectious that we had to we got the trumpet.
We're
We
freestyling.
You know, you heard us. You could probably hear us a little bit.
Yeah.
But man, she's awesome.
And a creative person like that kind of spirit is just, and I think being in this room too, Gates of Prayer is once again just a beautiful community, and that this room really, you know, it's all about community, and it brings it out in you. You know, I know when we've played here, it's always been a great time. But yeah, I mean, how did you think that? I thought it was
awesome. And you know, we were just talking about how we have the blessing. Here's the blessing for the day.
Let's do it.
You know, this is our first time getting together after New Year's Day,
Mm-hmm.
and no city in this country has been tested like New Orleans has. And time again, New Orleans proves its resilience.
Yep.
Which we did again, and we'll do again.
Absolutely.
But I think the blessing for us is, and I can speak as someone who's been here. I've been here 6.5 years. It's still very, very fresh in my mind how incredibly lucky we are
Mm-hmm.
to live in a city where I can talk to Casey O'Rourke and Tiffany Pollack and to these musicians. There's world-class musicians and singers and songwriters and chefs, all in our little radius here. And we're all New Orleanians. We're all part of the same city that is, gets knocked down and then gets right back up again.
That's right.
And so if there's a blessing out there, it's for those of us who live in New Orleans, just wake up every day and thank God you live in New Orleans. And for those who aren't in New Orleans, come see us.
Come see us, because we welcome you with open arms, and that is really beautiful. And there's no barrier for entry, folks. Like what the rabbi is saying. I mean,
Exactly right.
It's an honor for me to, get to hang out with Rabbi David and get embraced by his community. And we just want to welcome everybody. And New Orleans is kind of a microcosm for, let the good times roll. And beyond that, see the common humanity with people, with the awful terrorist attack that happened. When these things happen, we tend to lose the humanity. We tend to, black and white and all that stuff. And that causes more division. And we have got to be able to come back and see the divine in each other and see that the world there's no tolerance for that. And that needs to be, I don't know. We're united by something so much more and so much deeper. And let's never lose our focus on that, because that's what makes life worth living. That's
what makes us New Orleans.
That's it, baby. So, yeah.
So we'll see you next week. Thank
See you
for
next
joining us.
Thank y'all for coming. All right.